Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here. It is Tuesday, July 21st, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a little early. Yes. We're going to draw today. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We did. We had a really good one.
It was great nice.
It's been very hot here in Florida. I don't think it's been any hotter than normal, but it just feels hot. We've been spending a lot of time in the water.
Yeah.
Our fingers are very pruny.
But at least it's not storming every single day.
I would rather
the past
have
couple
that.
of weeks.
Did you hear that? I would rather have that.
I would rather do that.
So
Pish posh.
I would rather have the storms.
I would rather have storms every single day.
But yeah, I kind of I got a little behind, and I've been working on some animation that I can't share with you right now, but I will later. I've been working on that and didn't really think about what I was going to do for a stream today, so I pulled out a lion. You know, I thought I'd try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, lion.
Something brand new, something you've never done before.
Yeah, something I've never done before. And also, I want to let you know our coronavirus sale, because I know a lot of people, especially here in the States, are going back into quarantine because no one can wear a mask. Well, that's not true. A lot more people are wearing masks, yeah. But not enough. So we still have it going on. And so if you go over to creatureartteacher.com, our Photoshop brushes are still $1. My introduction to animation course is still free, completely free. We've had over 100,000 downloads of that.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, we've given away a lot, but it's awesome because everyone around the world's working on Aaron Blaise courses. I dig that.
That's awesome.
So that makes me happy because you guys are learning and getting information out into the world.
To the world.
So.
To the world.
So today I've got Dustin with me, my son, my trusty cohort.
What's up, fellas?
And he is going to be manning the questions. And then we got Nick in Sarasota. And he's going to be answering or writing questions down for me. Also, I want to remind you guys about our Wacom 1 giveaway. So you just need to go over to Facebook and share the video. That's all you need to do. Just go to Facebook and share our video, our live stream, and you'll be eligible to win a Wacom 1 pen display. They're awesome. It's a really good introductory kind of piece of equipment into the world of pen displays, and Wacom's got it. I've got one, and I really like it. I've also got this giant one, which I really love. But if you're looking for an introductory kind of way into that world, the Wacom one is the way to go. So go over to our Facebook page, and if you're not already there, and share the video, and you'll be eligible for a new Wacom 1. We're going to give one away.
Just go to our video and share our Facebook.
Right. So here's our reference that we're using today. I was really drawn to the light in this, and this was I think it was it was a female. She had a male lion with her. It was just a male and female by themselves, and I really liked the way the light was falling on her. One of the cool things about Dappled light is that it helps tell the story, which means, hey, she's sitting next to a tree in the shade. You don't have to show the tree because you've got dappled light. It's things like that, these little elements here and there that help tell the story of what's going on. And so we're going to do that. I want to push some color. I want to play with warms and cools and see how we do that. Also, I want to remind you for Facebook, it's facebook.com/theartofaaronblaise/live. That was supposed to be on Friday. Oh, sorry, Nick. I thought that's what we were doing, and I misunderstood you. So I guess I just blew it. I guess the Facebook thing was supposed to be on Friday. I don't know if I just blew it. Let me know what to do, Nick. Whether we continue with that trajectory or we do a new one.
Oh no.
But, oh no. I misunderstood. I thought Yeah. Anyway, you know what I meant. So here we go. So here is our just. You know, I'm going to blame it on Nick. Nick wasn't clear. Yeah, it was Nick. All right, so let's do some sketching. So you guys know how I do this. I start with a layer on top. Always work separate layers. Never work in your background. And I want to loosely get this in here.
Get that in there.
I want fluidity here too. I want this nice kind of fluid feel going this way.
Hey, sir, I'm new to commenting, but you do an amazing job, and keep it up. Your haircut is amazeball. from a shaved head. I wish I had hair. Oh well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Anyone who shares today's video is eligible. Okay. Sorry about that, Nick. Nicholas Birch.
So this very live stream, the one that's going on right now, share this live stream?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been stuck on this album, Born and Raised, John Mayer. I'm a big John Mayer fan. And, man, he put this album out in 2017, and I've just been listening to it over and over and over.
Over again?
Yeah. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I think I've been listening to it over here like the past
Since you've been coming over?
like the
Listening
past 3 to 5 times that we've all come over to party.
Yeah. That's me. Beat something to death.
Broken record. Sir, what is the future of 2D hand-drawn animation? Now, so many softwares are coming to get pencil feel.
Yeah.
I agree that a classical sense is needed, but like previous, it's not going. If you discuss a topic, it will be very helpful.
I don't think it's going anywhere, to be honest with you. I don't think. I think hand-drawn animation is alive and well, better than it's been in 15 years, because of Netflix and primarily Netflix, actually. You know, we're discovering all these new platforms, these new mediums, not mediums, but platforms for this stuff to be played.
Now the real question is, like, the hand-drawn style is going to stay, but what do you think of the like the actual, like, using paper and pencil?
Well,
like,
I think
like
yeah,
that classic.
Yeah. Look, I mean, things advance and change, and you find better ways of doing things. If you want to do animation on paper, then that's great. Do it on paper. You're going to be left behind. I mean, the great thing about doing animation on paper is that you have paper. You've got a physical thing that you can hold, which is cool. But, you know, there's a reason why no one's using film anymore. You know, everyone's gone digital with, say, cameras, because it's a better medium. And it's the same with animation. It's a better medium to work in for the finished product. The finished product being a piece of, you know, animation, a reel that you can watch. Now, if you want old school, then you can still do old school, but it's just not as efficient. But things like TV Paint, you know, I'm working in TV Paint, and I'm doing things on by myself on my own that I could never do before in the amount of time that I'm doing it now. You know, I'm spending a week doing 10 seconds of animation fully in between, fully painted, full color, and it's only taking me, well, I shouldn't say a week, but it's about 2 weeks. By myself though. Couldn't do that. Couldn't do that before.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, bud? Have you seen any of Greg Beecham's recent line paintings? Yes, any news on Masai Mara fundraiser you spoke about last week?
No news yet. We're still working on that. And I have seen some of Greg's paintings lately. I was there with him when he got the reference for those paintings. It was amazing. Greg's an amazing painter. For those of you that don't know, and maybe Nick can put up a link, Greg Beecham is one of the best wildlife artists out there, I think.
Did I pronounce his last name right?
Beecham, yeah.
Beecham?
Yep, you said it right. Yeah, he's not just an amazing artist, he's an amazing guy. He's just a really nice man. He's a pleasure to be around. And he's got a great Instagram account if you want to see his stuff there. Actually, everybody I was on that trip is really strong. We got Manny Carrasco. We got Darren Bader, Rebecca Knight, Christy Tipton, Peter Hahn. All of us were on this trip together. It was just an amazing time had by all. Nick Birch.
Nick
Birch. So I'm using my reference, getting her drawn in.
Are you going to push the lion's character in this one?
I'm going to push a little bit of the fluidity. I'm going to push not so much character, because I do want it to stay in the realm of realism. But I am going to push a little bit of just some of the sculptural qualities of the cat. Oh no, not again. That's what they're saying.
Oh no, not again.
Alright.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How can we create a custom brush in Photoshop? Thank you.
How can you create a custom brush in Photoshop? Well,
You got a course all about it.
I've got an entire course on that. Not just creating a brush in Photoshop, but painting digitally and creating brushes. It's part of the course. But I'll show you
part of the course there, buddy.
part of the course. I'll show you really quick. Don't blink.
Good job, kiddo.
Alright, there's one paw. Paw, 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 paw. Wow, that paw is a little big. That paw is a little big.
A little bit
A little too big. One of the things I love about working digitally, being able to do that. Alright, let me save this real quick. Let's call this Dappled Lioness. Man, I love coffee. I just started drinking coffee again.
Nothing like a good coffee.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here we go. I'll show you how to make a brush in Photoshop. I'm going to just make a document. This is 5 inches by 5 inches. It's small. 300 dpi. I've got a background right here, and I'm going to put a layer on top I've got my dark brush here. Let's go up here. My hard round. Let's create a foliage brush. You want to do that? Hey, Dustin, you want to create a foliage brush?
Sure, why not?
All right. So let's put some irregularities in it right here. And we'll put some leaves in it. Some leaves. See what I'm doing here?
Are there any live action movies that you think is underrated?
Live action movies that I think are underrated.
Yes.
That's a tough one. What's one that I like that I always go back to? That's like a guilty pleasure for me. I don't know, to be honest with you. Hold on, I want to change some of these because I want to be able to flip the X and the Y. So I'm going to take some of these and I'm just going to bend them out a little more horizontal. What do you think is an underrated movie, live action movie, Dustin?
I'm kind of on the same boat. Well,
because most movies that I think are good, everyone else thinks are good too.
yeah. But like, it's all about finding a movie that you enjoy that other people are like, really? Really? You like that movie?
Like Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. I love that movie.
Starship Troopers.
I hate that movie. Okay, all right. So anyway, I gotta make this quick. So here's our here is our pattern that I've just created. I want to make a brush out of this. I want to make a foliage brush, like a vine brush. Okay, so I've painted that. I'm going to turn off the background, and I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to come down to Define Brush Preset right there, and click on that. Now look what I've got. I'm going to say foliage, vine. Okay, foliage vine. I'm going to say okay. So now you can see I've got this brush. And turn this off, turn this on, and where am I? Oh, give myself a new layer. And you can see I've got this brush, but look what happens. It doesn't do what I want it to do, right? So we have to make some adjustments. Okay? So I have to go to my brush presets right here, and it's going to give me this window over here, and I can start messing with it. All right, so I want to go to the brush tip shape, which is where I'm at. I'm going to space it out. I also want to turn it like this and space it out some more. And then I'm going to go to Shape Dynamics, and right here, right under Angle Jitter, I'm going to go to, it gives me, under Control, it gives me some choices. And I can go to Direction. And what Direction does is it basically lines it up so that no matter which direction I draw, it follows the direction, it follows the brush. So if I draw like this, see that? Now I've got a vine. But it kind of repeats the same way. See how it gets too repetitive? So now I want to go to flip my X and flip my Y. And also I can go to Shape Dynamics and we can do a little size jitter. Right there. And I'm going to come back to brush tip shape and pull it together just a little bit. Now look. Now all of a sudden it's a little more random. You see that? So now I've created a brush that I can make plants with. So let's turn that off. Let's come over to my lion right here. Let's create a new layer. I can come in here, make this big. Look at that. I just created this brush that creates really cool plants. And it's as easy as that to create a foliage brush. Now all you got to do is think about the different profiles of different brushes that you want to create. But there's also, you know, using your presets, there's a lot of different things you can do by creating texture brushes. Here I've done foliage brushes, a foliage brush. But you can do, you know, texture brushes. It's really an infinite number of things you can do. So look at that. We just created.
Oh, there was something important from Nick.
Yes?
It's been brought to our attention that due to recent changes, if your Facebook page is private, we might not be able to see if you share the video. So please share or comment on the video to be eligible if that applies to you.
Okay, yeah. So if you're keeping a private Facebook page, we're not going to be able to see it's you. So make sure you make a comment or something like that so that we can see it. It's been brought to our attention. I'm going to repeat what Dustin said. It's been brought to our attention that due to recent changes, if your Facebook page is private, this is what Dustin said, we might not be able to see if you share the video. So please share or comment on the video to be eligible. There you go. So if you're keeping a private account, make sure you comment on it. This is another thing, YouTube question. I completely forgot to mention this to you guys. I'm not sure if we want to go to this camera or go to this camera.
I set it up to the webcam at the current moment.
But I've got this in the mail. Can you see it?
And go to the set cam. Just move it.
Go to the set cam here.
Yep.
So, this is a golden eagle skeleton. And Dustin and I are still working on the Birds of Prey course. I ordered this about 3 months ago, and when I found out it was going to take 3 months, I thought we would be done by the course and I wasn't going to be able to use this.
And
But
a little more.
it turns out that
There you go.
it turns out we are still working on the course. There we go. And I got the skeleton in the mail. This is it. Like I said, it's a golden eagle. And don't worry, this isn't a real golden eagle. These are all cast from a real specimen. But you can see how odd they look. There you go. Look at that. That's all there is to the tail to a bird on a bird of prey. Look how long the legs are. You know, these are things. I'm going to use this skeleton to go over. I'm going to draw over it. We're going to take some photos of it. We're going to draw over it, and I'm going to explain the bird anatomy so that you guys will understand it 100%. So here's their elbow, way down here. Way down there. Here's his elbow. There's right there. That's an elbow.
Zoom in on that.
There's his wrist, right here. There's the forearm. There's the forearm. Elbow. Come up to the wrist up here. His little tail. And look at this. Look at this bone right here. That's the, on us, that would just be a sternum. But here, look at that big keel. I've talked about that keel before. That's where all the muscle used for flight attach. So they need a lot of muscle. So they've got this big keel for all that muscle, breast muscle, to attach to. Those pectoral muscles. So, yeah, so we just got this over the weekend. And very excited about it. You can see it goes really well with all of my other skulls from other courses. Can you get that, Dustin?
Yep.
And this is just a cup, not even all of them, but it's this is by no means all of them. We've got a lot more. But there we go. Got more over there too on the desk.
Oh yeah.
To show the animation there, we got much more there. Those are the cat skulls and dog skulls. That's a wolf, coyote, leopard, mountain lion. There's a little fox over on the right. Or bobcat. That's a bobcat and a mountain lion. Then there's a leopard over there. There's a lion up top, on top of there. So, yeah, behind the light. Anyway, we'll get back to it. So that was my golden eagle. Our golden eagle. I gotta pull this out a little bit. We're gonna stretch it. Stretch it.
Little stretchy.
There we go. There we go. Oh hey, I got a plant brush now. That's not what I want. I want this. My pastel C. So this is, you know, the one I'm drawing with right now. That's a homemade brush as well. I made that a couple years ago. My little sketchy brush.
Nick's got a few questions.
Yeah, I see that. I'm just getting in here real quick. I want to make sure that I'm drawing this right. All right. YouTube comment. This is a weird idea, but what if you painted the lion like a calico kitty? You're right. That is a weird idea. If I did, basically all I'd be doing is changing the local color. If I painted it like a calico, the local color would be, you know, all the different colors that make up a calico, right?
I think so.
And then the lighting would basically be the same. It's how I light those colors. YouTube question. I have a strange question. Do you think you can get worse at drawing by overworking? I use 70% of my day to draw, and it's extremely stressing me out, and I feel like I'm getting worse. You might. No, you're not getting worse. You're just getting into a rut. You're just probably doing the same thing over and over. I do think it's important to force yourself to experiment, try different things. And that's probably where you're at right now.
Listen, can you shoot photos of the skeleton from different angles for the course, like 360 degrees? That'd be very helpful to understand the form in anatomy. I actually think
that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Yep.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so there's our nice curve right there. We're going to play that up.
Where can we get those skeletons?
You can get them from, this one I got from Skulls Unlimited or Bone Clones. They're not cheap. They're not cheap at all, but they are wonderful, wonderful reproductions. Maybe Nick can put up a link.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, eh? I'd like your opinion on how to get more accurate colors on the computer. How does it work?
How to get more accurate colors on your computer? Well, your computer does have different settings. You can also fine-tune it. I'm not sure how to do that. That's why I have people like Nick and Dustin.
Well, when it comes to color accuracy, it mostly depends on the monitor itself. A lot of production-based monitors, like for things like Photoshop or anything of that sort, like Wacom, they tend to be a lot more color accurate, while other monitors don't really tend to be. One of the ways you can find that out is looking up the accuracy percentage based off of Adobe RGB, because Adobe RGB is the accuracy of color when you're using an Adobe product like Photoshop. And the higher the percentage, the more accurate the color will be on the monitor screen.
All right.
Hopefully that answers the question.
So.
How often are you using traditional media?
Lately I haven't done. I've done some drawing, a little bit, but yeah, lately it's been working digitally because I'm lately been focused on getting this course done and some animation, which it's all been digital work.
Is that a new question from Nick?
No. So mind your own business, Dustin. Just mind your business. Mind your P's and Q's. You just stay over there.
Trying.
What type of brush are you using for the sketching?
This is my Pastel C brush. I made one of my custom brushes you can get in my original custom brush set. This brush I made about 5 years ago, I think. And I've used it ever since. I love this brush. It's a great brush for sketching digitally. Will you create more, YouTube question, will you create more videos of you sketching and walking around in the wild? I enjoyed watching you and Proco walking around looking for alligators. Yes, we are going to do quite a bit more of that. Right now, it's just so hot in Florida to go out and do that. I mean, we can go out. Actually, what you and I need to do, Dustin, is do some early morning ones. Mm-hmm. It's just it's super humid. I can't really do any watercolors at that time of day because nothing will dry. The air is super wet. But if we want to go out and do some drawing, we can do that. Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Well, like you do drawing and I do photos?
Yeah, but we record and do some.
Well, yeah, that. But like while you're drawing, I set up the cameras, but then on the sidelines, I'm also doing some photos.
Yeah. Because we haven't put out a new YouTube video outside of our demos, our live streams in a long time.
Yeah, we just have been focusing so much on the Birds of Prey course.
A bunch of news fans out front.
I know.
The what?
There's news people out front. I live across the street from the school board, and they're talking about sending all the kids back to school. Of course, I just find it ironic, or find it funny. I don't know if irony is the right thing, but it's interesting to me that the school board is meeting over Zoom virtually because it's too dangerous to meet in person, but they're discussing whether or not to send kids back to school. Does that make sense to you?
No. Actually, no. It makes perfect sense. You know.
Well, they don't want to get sick or anything.
They don't want to get sick. They just don't care that kids get sick. Are you able to open the mouth of the bird skull?
No. No, but I do have another one. And this one I can't open either. They're glued shut. But I've got this one right here. So this is a golden eagle as well. And we've got photos of this. And look at that orbital ridge. Those orbital ridges. These guys right here. Those are the things that make a golden eagle look so serious. Look at that. And a scleral bone right there holds the eye in place. Very cool stuff.
Now I forgot, those ridges, are those to like cut the airflow or something, or?
No, it's just there to block sunlight.
Block sun, like
So
like a hat.
Yep.
Huh. Useful.
So they can see a little beta.
A little beta.
All right, so I'm in here drawing, because I like to draw. We're getting there. One thing that helps, whenever you're doing something like this from reference is understanding that anatomy ahead of time. Because the photos will distort areas and it won't be clear. And if you understand what's going on from an anatomy standpoint, you can correct what's you know the there we go. I'm gonna get this in here. You can correct what the distortions are.
Dang it, Martin. Aaron buying the replica of an Asian bear. It is not cheap, but is very good quality.
What's that? What?
Aaron buying a replica of an Asian bear. Or buying the replica of a skull replica of an Asian bear. It is not cheap, but is very good quality.
That's a bad dad joke right there. Punny, 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 punny.
Do people paint the black on the skulls of their beak or on the beaks of the skulls?
Yeah. Yes. That's painted on. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of going in and tying down the drawing a little bit.
Any updates on the scholarship?
No, we're setting that up with our accountant right now. We're in the process of doing that, just for total disclosure, and we'll have more news as we work our way towards getting that done.
And Nick's got a new question from YouTube.
Have you ever visited New Zealand and drawn any of the native birds here? You know what? I have not. I want to go to New Zealand so badly. It's one of my top destinations I want to go to. I think if we go, we won't come back. I'm going to love it that much. One of my favorite wildlife artists is a Kiwi artist. His name is Raymond Ching. He's not, it's not Chinese. That's actually an English name. His name is Raymond Ching. He's a very well-known animal artist from New Zealand. Incredible work. Look him up. Raymond Ching. When I was a kid, I would eat up every book I had of his. And I know I do this every time. I've got several of his books, but they're not in my... Where did I last see them? I have them in a box, because I still have stuff in storage. And I know I've got a couple of his books. Doggone it. Drives me nuts when I can't. Drives me nuts when I can't find a book that I'm looking for, which is almost every time. Oh well, I've got like 3 books of Raymond Ching's, and I gotta go in my. I gotta organize these books. I need a Dewey Decimal System.
What would be a good way to learn human anatomy if you can't attend to an art school?
What's that now? Say it again.
What would be a good way to learn human anatomy if you can't attend to an art school?
Well, there's several things. There's still, you can draw people from life. You can still do that. I've got a course on human anatomy on my website, creatureartteacher.com. It's human anatomy. So, I mean, you can use that. And there's other people that are teaching it that are really great, like Proco. Proco has some great anatomy courses that I really recommend. There's a lot of great stuff online that you can find, and so that's a great place to start.
What mics are you guys using for the stream? We are currently using a singular microphone.
Mike Wachowski.
Mike Wachowski. But I don't remember exactly what the brand of the microphone is. I think it's an Echo.
Fine.
A what?
Fine. It's fine.
A fine.
It's Fifine.
Fifine. Fifine. Fifine. Dustin, can you do your dad's voice? Here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
I sound nothing like... My voice has changed so much over the last 20 years.
Oh yeah, I love watching the old 90s videos of
The Lion King promotions and stuff.
yeah, the Lion King promotion, the guy going through the studio.
Yeah. Hey, bears only like pink shirts. Twitch question: do you often think about the things you're planning to draw later? I do, actually. I do.
Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Love you.
How are you?
Hi, how are you? Do you prefer Photoshop or Corel Painter to do your art? And can you use Corel Painter on Cintiq?
Yes, you can use Corel Painter on Cintiq. You can use anything on Cintiq. The Cintiq is not what determines your software. It's going to be your computer that's going to determine that. And I prefer Photoshop only because I'm more familiar with it. Although I've used Corel Painter quite a bit in the past. I like Photoshop just because that's what I'm most comfortable using. But I've done plenty of Corel Painter paintings. All right, so here's our drawing, finally. And I chose a nice cool background just because I want to get some warmth. So I'm going to get some, I want to do some warmth over the top of it. I'm going to start putting in some local color. Go a little more amber. And I'm just going to start right in here. And I'm just going to lay down a nice solid color. Like so. And then we're going to go in and we're going to start playing with that. And like I said, this is local color. What does local color mean? Of all the times you've heard me talk, Dustin, I want to see if you're retaining anything. What does local color mean? I'm going to put you on the spot.
The most basic of colors.
All right, I'm going to say it again. This time you're going to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Local color is the color of an object when it's not in shadow and it's not in light. It's just the color of an object. It's like
That's what I meant by
a
basic
red
color.
apple or a green grass or yeah.
That's
So
basically what I meant by basic. Like, yeah, not in shadow, not in light, just the basic color before you put in the details.
there you go. Well, it's not even so much details as it is local color means the actual color of the object, not the light color and not the shadow color. And the beauty of painting digitally is that I can paint the shadows in over the local color. I can paint highlights in over the local color. When we paint traditionally, I don't really paint local color in that sense. I think about what the local color is and think about how it's affected by light and shadow, and then I paint that. But here I have the luxury of painting this local color first, and then I can go in and adjust it by adding shadows and whatnot. So the beauty So the beauty of painting digitally, one of the beauties, of painting digitally is this ability to break up your steps very analytically. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. Maybe we'll have some fun. Maybe we'll create some texture brushes. All right. Twitch question. Do you know the Sheridan animation program? How do you like it? Plan to study there next year? Well, I don't know it. I think Sheridan's a good college. A lot of my colleagues went to Sheridan back in the 80s. So I think it's a cool school. Too cool for school. But beyond that, I really don't know it. So what I'm doing now is I'm just adding some local color texture. Grab some texture brushes that I made during one of the live streams and trying that out. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. You just answered the Twitch question, right? From Nick?
Yeah, the Sheridan animation program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had an email. I had to check on something. But where did you learn about local color?
Well, that's a basic. I learned that in painting class in college. It's one of the first things you'll learn. Understanding local color, light and shadow. Right now, I'm still just working in local color. I've also locked the layer. I've alpha locked it, so I can't paint outside of what the silhouette of what I just created. I'm gonna paint this kind of loose too.
Erica Bay says that lioness looks very familiar. I love the African Cats reference pack from your site.
Thanks. Yeah, I think you've painted this one before, Erica. Yeah, I included this one because of I like the dappled light. That's why I put it in the pack.
I don't know if I asked this question already because the person's re-commenting it, but besides TV Paint, what other animation programs do you use?
That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, I tend to stick with, I don't jump all over the place with different programs. So I find one that I like and I stick with it. And so as far as my animation goes, 2D animation, I use TV Paint and that's it. And I haven't really used any others. I haven't used Toon Boom. I've used a little bit of Procreate on my iPad.
Did you animate both young and adult Nala?
No, I just did young Nala. Tony DeRosa animated adult Nala.
And Nick's got a few things to few new things up there.
YouTube comment. It's a shame American lions are now extinct. It is. They went extinct a long time ago, though.
There were lions in America?
Yes, there were. They came over the land bridge just like The other animals did. There's a lot of exchange back and forth across the Bering Land Bridge. You know, camels that are, you only find in Asia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Camels evolved in North America. Now the llamas stayed behind, but the because they're all part of the same family of camels and llamas.
Mm-hmm.
But the camels, they went across the bridge. They went over into Asia. Horses, the original wild horses that you find in Asia, they originally evolved in North America. Bet you didn't know that.
I'm sure I did learn that, but I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
You got a few more.
Yeah, I'm also drawing, so I got you. I hear you. But did Nick task you with reminding me to talk?
Pretty much. I have the deep thoughts on my end too, just in case.
So I'm going through and hitting some of the light areas now.
Did you know that owls have one ear slightly above the other one for 3D hearing?
Yes, I did know that.
And that's part of our upcoming Birds of Prey course.
That's exactly. That's in the upcoming Birds of Prey course. I talk about that.
And in our sample owls in the Birds of Prey is the barn owl and the great horned owl. Right?
Yep. Today would have been Robin Williams' 69th birthday. Oh, man. Oh, Robin Williams. I was lucky enough to have met him years ago. He was as much fun as you think he would be. He came into our studio and was so gracious and so entertaining and so funny, and we had a wonderful time. So I'm still painting local color right now. I'm going to go with my texture brush now and just work with that a little bit.
Do you use local color as a first layer even in real paintings, or is it just used for digital processes?
Really just for digital processes. That's what I was talking about a little bit earlier, where it's one of the great things about digital painting is that I can get away with painting just straight local color and then adding light and shadow, whereas I got to think about light and shadow and everything else when I'm working traditionally all at once. I need to think about that.
And the brush you're currently using is still Pastel Seed, right?
Nope, the one I'm using right now is one of our texture brushes that we made a while back. It's got wonderful texture to it.
Do you think they'll ever fix the Yeti at Disneyland?
I didn't know it was broken. What are you talking about? Fix the Yeti.
I guess the Yeti and the Matterhorn was broken.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure they will eventually. It's not like Disney to keep things broken.
Either they'll fix it, or they're going to take it, down, just completely replace it with something new. That's my guess.
There. I love these textured brushes because it really, I don't have to use a fur brush. It gives it a more painterly feel. Can't wait till we can travel again.
Oh yeah. I've been watching the Safari Live
Yeah.
on.
Dying to get
on
back
there.
to Africa.
Huh?
Dying to get back to Africa.
I want to go so bad.
Oh, do you know?
Do you know? How did you master lock that? How did you master lock that layer?
Oh, there's a little checkerboard. There's a little checkerboard that says lock right above your layers over on the right side. And you just click on it and it locks it.
Oh, Nick says that they took the Matterhorn ride out with the Yeti at Disney World and replaced it with Frozen. It's still at Disneyland, I believe. So the Matterhorn ride is now a Frozen ride?
Yes. That I knew. I thought the Yeti was part of that.
When did they turn it to Frozen?
Oh, after Frozen came out
Really?
and was super popular.
Never knew that.
Hey Aaron, when doing traditional art, do you do local color before? Okay, that's you just asked me that. Nick says okay, and you did that. Oh no, already too. So you're reading some of my questions.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you reading my questions, man?
So you can keep drawing, man. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, dear bud? Sometimes when I draw animals from photos, the silhouette and overall shape looks stiff and out of proportion. What would be a good way to have a good shape design and have at the same time keep it automatically correct? Thanks.
Well, you really need to understand the anatomy. That's what I was talking about earlier, because photos lie. They distort, they change things. And so if you have a good understanding, basic understanding of the anatomy first, then you have the ability to go in and fix it, change it. And so that's what I recommend. It's just studying up your anatomy ahead of time, understanding it, and then get in there. All right, so we're getting in here now. Hey Aaron, I'm a silhouette artist. Have you ever cut silhouettes with paper? I have not done it. I remember we got our silhouettes done. Remember they used to do it at Disney? Well, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but years ago, they used to do it at Disney back in the 70s. I'm not sure if they kept doing it or not. And we had ours done. Our family had it done when I went to Disney in like 1977. And then it burned up in a fire.
It burned up in a fire.
It did. Our house burned down. Then our house burned down.
It made me think of Frozen 2 with Olaf. Like, they were happy with their parents. Then instantly, the parents are dead.
All right, so we've got this going on. Let's go ahead and lay in some background elements. Once again, I'm going to keep it local color.
I think Martin got us just right.
Huh?
I think Martin got us just right. You saying, Dustin, why are you reading my questions? And I'm going, Dad, why are you answering my questions?
So I want to go really painterly with this today. I'm just going to lay in some. I'm using my texture brush, my dry brush. So you guys, it has this really great dry brush feel to it.
I've been really enjoying your light course. It's just like magic when you flip on the light switch. What kind of lighting are you thinking in today's painting?
Today's going to be dappled lighting. Sort of like what I did actually in the lighting course. I did a little example on a lion. So we're gonna do layers of light grass over dark grass over light grass. Just gotta lay this in. And if you're interested in this brush, they're available. This is available in my set. Got a set of dry brushes. Dry brushes. Twitch comment. I'm homeschooling my daughter this year, and she wanted to make sure that she had art. Luckily, I found your site and bought your yearly subscription. She's been using a Wacom into us for years now. Thank you for what you do. That makes me happy. Thanks for telling me. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to texture this. I'm going to go in with my texture brush here. I'm just creating shapes back here. I'm going to pull detail out of it later. But right now I'm just being random. Being random.
Random.
Let's make a brush. Want to make a random kind of textury, grassy, textury brush? Sure. That sounds great, Aaron. Alright. Alright, so let's do it. I want to create just random texture. Let me look. Excuse me. If I look at the textures, look at the textures in the background here. I'll blow this up. I want to create that kind of texture in the background. Something like that. Okay? So, that means I'm going to jump over here. Actually, let me click on this again. Okay. So that means we're going to come over here. I'm going to just grab my hard round brush. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, let's do this.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, E?
How's it going, dear bud? A few times you recommended looking at the work of Terrell Whitlatch for creature design, and she's quickly become one of my favorite artists. Are there any other great creature designers that you would recommend searching for?
Trying to think. Well, Ian McKegg is wonderful. Ian McKegg. Let me see. Yeah, off the top of my head, Ian McKegg is the guy I can think of. I'm sorry. I'm trying to create this brush, and I want to try something really quick. No, I'm going to leave it like that. So we've got this random kind of skittery texture, and once again, I'm going to go to Edit, Brush Preset, and we're going to go OK. And now what I want to do is cancel. I'm going to get rid of that, turn that on. So if I create a new layer and draw, you can see I've got this really weird kind of texture that I don't want to use. That's not what I want. But what I do want is I'm going to go to shape dynamics, and we can do a size jitter so that this gets a little weird. Let's say it gets a little more random. We can go to angle jitter, which is now we're going to start getting really, look at that, really random, nice, kind of grassy texture. But I want to go and spread it out a little bit so it's not so thick. See that? So if I come in here, I can go like that. So I'm going to save this one. Okay? I'm going to save that so because this gives me some real random texture back there that we can use. All right? And that's going to be cool. Now I want something that's a little bit, how do I say it? That's has got a little direction to it. So I want to go to shape dynamics. I'm going to go to direction, but I want to go to my angle jitter and pull that back a little bit. I'm going to go to brush tip shape, and I got to change the direction. If I hit here, now everything's generally pointing in one direction. I can, hey, one direction. I'm going to flip the X. Yeah, so it's going to randomly flip X. So there I can, see how everything's kind of pointing in the same direction, but it's still random. And let me go back to shape dynamics. So if I pull back on that angle jitter, flip Y. Don't want to do that. Flip X. Flip X. There we go. Flip X, flip X. So now I can go in here and create some random textures like this. See? That's going to give me some nice texture back there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Oh, I didn't name the other one. But let's just call it random grass. Random grass.
Random.
Oh, Bobby Chew. Bobby Chew does great creatures. Yes, thank you. CHUI, Bobby Chew. Or is it IU? Chew. I can't remember. So let's come back here now. Now I'm going to take this same brush and I'm just going to grab some other color. Remember, the idea is I'm still doing local color.
By the way, when drawing with just a pencil, which is better? Using pencils with different using multiple pencils with different softness, or using just one pencil and vary the pressure on the paper?
I'd say multiple brush pencils with different softness. So look at this wonderful texture we're able to create. This is just going to be kind of a base. You know, it's one of the great things you can do with digital painting. See down here? Getting a nice base to it here. It's all about that base, about that base.
About that beat. If you could go back in time and meet any artist.
If I could turn back time. What's that?
If you could go back in time and meet any artist, who would you want to meet and what would you want to ask them?
Michelangelo. I want to meet Michelangelo and just say, how? How did you become so amazing? See that? We created a brush right here on the spot. We created some fun grassy textures. Look how quickly we're able to do this. You ever tried painting in Krita? No. Or Krita? Is it Krita or Krita? I haven't. I have not. I'm going to throw some dried grasses in here.
He does. Is Aaron a shower singer?
Of course I am. Aren't we all? Aren't we all shower singers?
I'm a shower singer too. Not only am I a shower singer, but I actually listen to, like, I have waterproof speakers and I blare music while I'm in the shower.
Of course you do. Because you're a shower singer.
You worked on Aladdin before, right? I remember the Hercules cartoon had a crossover with the Aladdin cartoon. Was it canon?
Was it canon? What do you mean, was it canon? I don't know what that means.
Is it part of the story, like the lore of that universe of Aladdin? Like, is
Hercules? I don't know.
Is Aladdin and Hercules in the same universe, basically?
Not that I've never heard that.
I don't believe so. I think it was just something they wanted to add in there because two popular Disney movies turned to shows.
I think they probably, yeah, I mean, you could argue that they existed in the same time period.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that episode very, very well.
All right, so we're getting some fun textures in here. I want to start adding some shadows. Do you listen to Phil Collins sometimes? You know I do. I listen to Phil. Phil and I had a good relationship for a while. I haven't talked to Phil in 15 years. 17 years, something like that.
I love taking nature photographs and I love drawing, but I'm stuck between realism and cartoon art. Is it recommended that a beginner works on one style over another?
No. You work with whatever you want. Just know that whatever it is that you're doing is stylized. As a beginner, I think it's important to understand things academically first, and then go in and. All right, so sorry, I'm going to go in. I got to stop talking for just a little bit. I'm going to create a new layer. We're going to start doing our shadow. I'm going to go to multiply, and I'm going to go somewhat warm in the shadows. Cool gray, but it starts out warm. Question: do you like Phil Collins? Answers: I have 2 ears and a heart, don't I? Where was that from?
I don't know. Sounds familiar.
I know Nick knows where it's from. "30 Rock," that's right. It's Alec Baldwin.
Oh, right.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to paint in the dappled lighting on our cat. once again, I'm doing this all in cool colors. The shadow is a cool gray,
Cool.
and I'm not sure I want to go that way right now, but I'm just going to keep going and we'll see. There we go. YouTube question. Hey Aaron, when you draw Kung Fu Panda, are you going to do it in a Disney cartoony or realistic? I'm just super curious and excited. Probably, well, first of all, Kung Fu Panda is DreamWorks, not Disney. But I'll probably keep it in the same style and do a realistic render. How's that? Think you might like that? I hope you like that, young viewer. Thank you very much for watching, by the way.
Do you struggle with gouache painting sometimes?
I struggled with gouache in my younger days, yes. Gouache isn't always easy. Gouache is hard sometimes. But if you just approach it from a very simple standpoint, one of the hardest things I find with gouache is the drawing, how much the color changes when it dries.
Will you use a special brush for the fur?
No, I'm not going to use fur brushes today.
Hey Aaron.
Hey, person.
Hey. When you paint your oil paintings, do you start with local color too? Or do you have a different approach on painting light and shadow?
I approach it really direct. So I'm thinking about my local color, but I'm not painting local color.
Do you plan on taking an apprentice or a student?
No, not at this point. Not right now. At some point we will. I've got everything I can do just to handle Dustin.
I'm very special. A few new questions from Nick. You want me to read them for you, or?
No, I got it.
Alright.
Hey Aaron, did you wrestle in high school? If so, what was your favorite shot? I'm just asking because Travis mentioned wrestling in the stream. I did wrestle. Travis was a much better wrestler than me. I was a terrible wrestler. Pound for pound, I was the strongest guy on my team, but I was the worst wrestler. I was always analyzing everything, so I never did anything intuitively. So I would go in for a shot, and then I'd go, okay, now what do I do? And I'd think, I just never thought about anything instinctively. And while I'm sitting there thinking about what my next move is going to be, I'm getting pinned. Meanwhile, my brother Travis, he was pinning guys in like 8 seconds. Literally, I watched him pin a guy in 8 seconds. So he was super intuitive, which is something I was always really kind of thoughtful and like, okay, now what do I do? Okay, now I got to do this and this, which is kind of how I approach my art, I think, too. It doesn't work when you're wrestling. You get your butt kicked. Of course, I also had one of the hardest weights. I wrestled 132, which was a really difficult weight in our district. One guy there was one guy, Jeff Mastari, still remember his name. He was 120-0. He'd never been beaten, and he wrestled 132. So talk about getting in your head. I remember having to go out and wrestle him. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get my butt kicked, and so that was my problem. I would get beaten before I even got on the mat.
Follow up on the apprentice or student question somebody else is asking. Maybe a coffee retrieving intern?
So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to be selective in where I'm creating. I'm changing it up from my reference. So if you look at the cat, the head right here, I've gone and put his head or her head in shadow. Now I want it to stand out against the background and also against her leg. I want this, a little bit of light there. If you look on my reference, the shadow blends in with the shadow in the background and on her leg, and so that head kind of gets lost. The edges get lost. And I want to change that. And I have the ability to do that because I'm the artist. So I'm going to change that up a little. Maybe put a little, well, maybe not that much. I did see that, Nick. Yes. I was going to get really sarcastic with him and tell him no. But yeah, I'll send it to him. Oh, okay, so someone's asking if I'm going to stream animating the bear hugs again, or am I going to finish it off the stream? Actually, I'm going to be finishing it off the stream. So, the folks that we were making it for asked us to please not share it until it's done, so that it can have a better impact, which I agree with. And so, so we're going to hold off on sharing that.
You two and Nick, the three of you make a great team. Team Blaise. Well, don't forget about Steven.
Yeah, Mr. Coleman.
Mr. Coleman.
No one knows about Steve.
I feel bad for Steve sometimes because of that. Like every time the four of us go out to C10, I feel like everybody knows Nick, you and I. Everyone's
I think Steve's just fine with that.
When you're on the go, like say for lectures and workshops, what laptop do you use for art? The MacBook Pro?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes you do.
Yes.
Along with a 16-inch Cintiq, the portable monitor.
Yeah, the Wacom 1.
Yeah, the Wacom 1. Well, I thought that one there's a 13, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. But I use the Wacom 1. So once again, creating shadows. So now you can see as we paint these cool colors, now that we've created our base, you can see how I'm just really painting shadow. I'm just painting where I want the shadow to be as opposed to light. And here I have her sitting in the shadows.
What was it like to be an apprentice of an animator back in the day? And do hand-drawn animators take them nowadays as much as they did before?
Do they what as much as they did before?
Taking apprenticeships, basically.
Oh, I don't know that they take on apprenticeships. It depends on the studio, really. And it was great. I mean, if you had a really great mentor, it was fantastic.
Group photo.
There's Steve.
Steve is everywhere.
Let me see if I can bring him in. Here we go. We're gonna add him. There he is. We just added him. So this is our edit. Let me see. This was our group at our at the live event that we did in Orlando last year. And there's Steve. There's Steve up on the screen.
Yeah, it took a.
And there's Steve in the foreground. There's Steve over on the left.
Yeah, I took a photo of Steve while we were in the front, and I think it was him that took the photos and just merged them all together like that.
Yeah.
Oh, and you just did. Is that the same one?
What's that?
Is that the same photo, or is that a new?
Oh, there's another one.
Even bigger photo.
And there's one he's hovering in the floor or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Steve.
Hi.
How are you?
That was
Hi.
an awesome event.
How's it going, E?
There's Steve. That's Steve. We couldn't get by without Steve.
Yeah, he's a major
contributor.
major contributor for the website. Like, he handles all the website stuff, doesn't he?
Yep. Writes a lot of code.
Yep.
That's code for writing code.
Code for writing code. Yep, Team Blaise is the amazing AA Ron, the trusty Dusty Dustin, Do the Thing Nick, Imaginary Steve, and the hot chip Master Vedanta.
Do you paint in your shadows and lights on an adjustment layer? If so, which one? Sorry if you answered this already. I had to step away from the stream. It's not an adjustment layer. I'm not sure what an adjustment layer is. But I am on a new layer, and it's set to multiplying, so that's how I'm painting my shadows right now. So these shadows in the background, I'm painting them in as negative space. And then we're gonna draw over the top of that. Can you put the artwork learned from you put into our portfolio? What? Oh, can we put the artwork learned from you into our portfolio? I don't see why not. Sure.
In traditional media, how would you approach that same grassy area, like, let's say, gouache or oil?
Once again, you start with big shapes. I would still start with big shapes, especially if I'm working opaque, and then work towards the details.
With oil painting, I have heard of doing a value under painting,
Yeah.
and then adding the local colors on top of that. Is it possible to start with the local colors and add value on top of it with oil?
I'm sure you can. That's not a method that I use. I'm more direct, but yeah, I'm sure that's something you can do.
I have an Ami. We have a Steve. Who is Steve? Is he still kind of new here?
Steve's been around since Dustin's been around.
Yeah, and did you guys?
Steve is
like,
just he's the silent.
He's the way deep behind the scenes.
Yes.
Like, I think he came on board just a few months after I did.
I think you guys came out at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hello. Do you have a video on how to work with an animation scene correctly? How to properly plan a scene, write in exposure sheets? I do have my scene approach. I don't know if I cover exposure sheets, actually. That's a good point. Okay, so here's our rough color, our rough shadows. And you can see now, just by setting this to multiply and going in, we've got a pretty nice kind of setup here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to create a layer on top, and I'm going to set this to overlay, and we're going to go a little bit hot. We got a little bit hot tonight. Reach down. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to go in and hit some areas and heat them up a little bit, including the cat. Do you find the need to rotate the canvas like when you draw on the animation disc, or do you always draw without any rotation to accommodate your hand movements? I basically don't do any rotation. Sometimes I do, but not very often. I kind of treat this very much like traditional art. So I'm going through now and just really hitting areas that I want really hot. So you can see here I'm doing it around the mouth because I want to get that silhouette of that mouth nice and clear. I'm going to do the same thing with the head. Watch. I want that head silhouette nice and clear, unlike what I have in the reference. I'm going to push, I want to push the design a little bit. There, see that? Now this is really going to come together when we actually start adding the grasses. Right now, what we have back there is just texture. I created that brush just to create some texture. That's all. That's really the only reason I did that.
Do you use different pen grip positions with digital media?
I don't. No. Nope. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
All right, so going through and brightening up some areas in here. So you can see we're starting to get a nice sense of light in here. Keeping it loose. Still not worrying about lots of detail. I'm worrying more about value. Value meaning light and dark.
It also reminds me of the light patterns formed through water and acoustics, I think it's called.
Uh-huh. It's very similar. So this is all just going to serve as a base. It's all about that base. About that base.
You know I'm all about a bass.
No trouble. No trouble.
I'm all about a bass.
No trouble. About that base. Alright, so. There we go. We're going to hit this. So we've roughly got our light and shadow in here. I've got a nice silhouette working with the head. I like that. I like that so far. Hey Aaron, when is the right time to try out other mediums if you're a beginner? Whenever you want.
Whenever you feel like it.
Yep.
Gosh.
Whenever you feel like it. You get out there and you try it. As a beginner, that's your time to experiment. Get out there and try new things. I'm going to do a new layer and I'm going to go multiply again. This time I'm going to go a little warm with the shadow. I just want to experiment. See, speaking of experimenting. And I do know there's some areas in here I want to get a little darker. Like some of this shadow in here.
Well, animating facial expressions, what would you say is the worst mistake to make?
The worst mistake is not changing the overall shape of the head and face. And use that anatomy. So don't be afraid to change the silhouette shape of the head and the and remember also your the anatomy as far as where the jaw connects and all that kind of stuff. Because I see that mistake a fair amount as well. All right, so I'm just going in right now and I'm hitting a few darker areas. I got to darken up this mouth quite a bit.
You're going in?
But I'll be doing that soon. There we go.
There we go. There we go. I don't have any more questions.
I'm going to get some more coffee here in a minute.
Some more coffee?
Yeah. And there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Does anybody want any coffee? You ever see that video?
What's that from?
What's the name? I think he's like a face. And it makes a lot of viral Facebook videos. But there's one in particular, and I can't tell if he's like from Boston or if he's from New York. But he's got like that really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a video that he makes where he's in his kitchen and he's one of those guys that just wants to make coffee for everybody. Like, does anybody want any coffee? I got all kinds of coffee. I'll show it to you later.
So now I'm breaking it up a little bit more using darker shadows. And I'm experimenting. I'm going a little warm with the shadows because I want it to feel a little hot.
What is the velocity of an unladen swallow?
All right, so
If you could draw one subject or animal your whole life, what would it be?
say that again.
If you could draw one subject or animal for your whole life, what would it be?
Big cats. I just love drawing big cats. So I was using your personalized brush on Photoshop and it ran out. Like how a pencil would in real life. What? Is there a way of using that brush again? I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand how it ran out. That I do not know. It shouldn't have run out. I haven't set them up that way. I'm going to try going cool with this. I want to shift it. Image adjustments, hue and saturation. Let's try adjusting it.
Did you work on the film Bears from Disney Nature?
No, I did not. My friend, I think Don Hahn worked on that. No, I'm going to keep it. Cancel. I'm going to keep it warm.
Keep it canceled.
Keep it warm.
Keep it simple.
Nick says they might have an erodible tip turned on. Yeah, they might do. They might have that turned on. Just re-download the brush. I don't know if you have the erodible tip turned on or not. I've never turned it on though in the setup of the brush. I'm going to jump over to my texture brush actually for some of these extra shadows.
That there sounds like a plane.
There. Oh, I like getting the texture brush in there. Now I can go in with my eraser and create more texture as well. Look at that. YouTube question: have you had any experiences with injuries due to overuse of your arm, wrist, shoulder, and do you have any tips for an artist to avoid them? You know, I get that question a lot. I don't have any. I've never had any issues with that. I've had a lot of friends that have had carpal tunnel and have had to deal with that, and I have just been really lucky and have not. I do recommend, you know, if you can, draw from the wrist. I mean, not the wrist. Draw from the shoulder as much as you can. That will help. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump in. I'm going to start working opaque over the tops of these shadows. Shadows are getting kind of gray for me, and I want to cool them off. So I'm going to come in here, and I want to go blue, nice and cool. Create a new layer. I'm just going to hit some of them like so. Just trying to cool them off a little bit.
Have you ever been to Paris?
I've been to Paris twice. You were there with me once, Dustin.
Yep, for Mom's
We
40th.
went. Yep, we went for Mom's 40th birthday.
Oh, that was a fun trip.
2001. Man, that was a fun trip.
I was 11. I'll never for the one. My favorite part of it was the catacombs.
Yeah, man, that was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, because each of us were able to choose a place of what we want to do or where we want to go on the trip, and so my choice was the catacombs. And the catacombs are deep underground, and there's no elevators to go down there. It's just a spiral staircase, both going down and going up.
Yeah.
And it felt endless walking down the stairs, to the point where I started laughing hysterically because I was starting to lose my mind on how deep underground it was.
Yeah. It was cool.
We also went to the Arctic Triumph.
Yeah,
Notre
we did.
Dame.
Yeah. So I'm just going through on some of these shadow shapes and cooling them off. We're going to be working over the tops of them. There. Okay. Now what I want to do, we're going to create another layer. And I'm just going to start creating... I want to start creating some nice, cool shades in here of color. I'm going to use my dry brush. And here's where I was talking about where I wanted to kind of push the color a little bit. There, that feels nice. I like playing these cool colors against the warms. You see that slight cool, how nice that feels?
Yeah, it's great. It is quite nice.
It gives it such a great sense of light and shadow. When you play that against the warms that we've established, it works really well.
Have you been to Holland or planning to go? Would love to see you here. Love's from Holland.
Yes. No, I haven't been. As close as I've gotten is Denmark. But we would love to go there and meet up. Yes.
That would be awesome.
Have you ever drawn aquatic mammals such as dolphins, whales, or manatees? If so, can you show some of them, please? I have. I just don't have them available right now to show.
Touche?
To show.
Ah, touche.
There we go. So I'm just going through right now and just cooling it off. See those nice cool colors in there? All in the white areas. There. There.
Here we go. I missed it. Is that cool reflected light on an overlay layer?
No, it's not on. It's just regular blend mode.
Please do a layer breakdown soon.
It's very simple. I'm going to hit some of these a little more pure in their color. So I'm going through now and just hitting, what I'm trying to do is add more color, basically, overall, in some of these areas.
Have you drawn your kids often when they were young?
You know, I didn't do it often, but I did draw them.
Every once in a while.
Yeah, I drew you guys every once in a while. I wish I had drawn you more. I wish I had drawn your mother more. So, if you have the opportunity, draw your family, because you can never have those times back.
Take the opportunity while you can.
Yeah. There, so I'm just going through and warming up some areas with my nice little texture brush. Now I'm going to go through and hit some light areas. I'm going to jump over to my pastel C brush.
Le pastel.
Le pastel. There you can see, I'll blow that up. I can foreshorten the lighting. See, these are all the little details we can get in. There. See that? Now it starts to sing.
If Glen Keane would do one course for your website, what would it be about?
I would let him decide. For me, I was always so inspired when he just talked about the spirit of animation, you know?
It'd be Glen Keane's version of basic animation.
Yeah.
You in the corner. I already did that though.
So here, we're getting that light in there. Getting a little too repetitive with the shapes, I think. Take some of those out. There we go. That's it. There, see? Did you go to school to learn about light, color, and texture, or is all what you learned from experience? Everything I learned is from experience as far as light and texture and color. Yeah, it all comes from getting in there and doing it. I did go to school for art, and I learned a lot while I was there. Absolutely. Do you think Fun with a Pencil from Andrew Loomis is a good book for a beginner? I don't know the book. If so, should I read it as a normal book from start to ending, or should I read some part first, and if it isn't, which one would you recommend? I don't know. I don't know it. I'm sure it is. A lot of people talk about it. I've just never read it, so I do not know. But really, any book that's critically acclaimed out there for drawing will be a good book. But the best thing for drawing is to get in there and draw, right? Just get out there and draw.
Howdy, Dustin and Aaron.
Howdy.
I'm reading the book The Nine Old Men by Andreas Dejas?
Andreas Deja.
Andreas Deja.
Yes.
Right now. Are there any books about your generation's time there?
You know what? There's a documentary called oh my God, what's happened to me?
Are you okay?
I'm losing my mind.
Do you have a mind?
Finding Sleeping Beauty. Was that what it was? I'm losing my brain. And that's kind of in our time. Well, that's definitely in our time. I'm sorry. So I'm once again I'm losing my mind because I'm trying to figure out my light and talk at the same time.
Oh dear.
There. See, I love doing dappled light like this. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
He's great nice. Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Waking Sleeping Beauty. There you go. Thank you. I kept thinking, searching for sleeping.
Yep. Thank you, Erica.
Produced by Don Hahn. Wasn't it produced by Don Hahn? Pretty sure.
Erica, do you know that? What was the most important lesson you learned in art school?
You know what? Really being open to new ideas. Opening up your mind.
Open your mind. Like that?
Yeah, just like that.
Open your mind.
I'm going to go in here now, and I'm going to just go a little brighter. Oops. Nick brought up the Quato.
Yep.
Open your mind. Quaid.
Yeah, I rewatched that movie last week.
I guess it's trending on Netflix.
Yep. 2 weeks. Are there any directors or companies you would have enjoyed working with? A company that you haven't worked for, or director you haven't worked with?
I don't know. I'd love to have worked with Peter Jackson. And I know James Cameron's a tough nut, but I'd like to have worked with him. I know I could have learned a ton.
Are there any Also, are there any projects that you would have want to be part of?
I always wanted to be part of Zootopia.
Mm.
Work with Byron again.
I could definitely see you working on that one.
I would have loved to have been able to work on Iron Giant.
Didn't you get offered to work on that one, or was that
No.
or was that someone else?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, because you're still with Disney at the time.
Yeah. The Total Recall remake was the most disappointing movie ever. How do you remove Mars from that story? I totally agree.
Oh, the remake of Total
Yeah,
Recall?
it was unbelievably bad. I have no idea how that even got greenlit.
I have no idea either. I mean, you don't remake a movie that stars Arnold.
Well, it's not that. It's just the whole basis of the story is around Mars.
I was cracking a joke.
Yeah.
It's such a weird concept. Like it's all set on Earth, but it's like completely opposite ends of the world.
I don't get it. Alright, so I'm starting to noodle this a little too much, but I'm just going to get in here real quick. Finish this.
If Wacom made a bigger Cintiq, would you get it, or is the 32-inch just right?
Nope, I would get it.
You just can't stick with the size that you got.
Well,
You always got to go bigger.
go big or go home. All right, so I've got I got to do this real
Aaron, when you sneeze, do people say to you, "Blaise you"?
quick.
Blaise
No.
you.
Okay, so we got some light, dappled light happening, and so now it's time to get some positive shapes and negative shapes working a little better on the in the grasses. Okay. So, in order to do that, I'm gonna start working from the back to the front. I think that's what we're gonna do. And unfortunately, I put the shadow layers on top, so I'm gonna have to do everything on top. I can't work behind really the cat layer. So, the first thing I want to do is create a layer on top. We're going to set it to multiply. I'm going to get in there with some nice dark green colors. I'm going to try turning off the pressure sensitivity. It's too dark.
What would you rather have? Total Recall remake, or It's a Small World song permanently remade with Christopher Walken's voice? You can only pick one.
That's a good one. I don't know.
It's a small world, after all. How old were you when you started transitioning to digital?
I was 38.
because he started transitioning to digital when we first moved to California.
Yeah, maybe 37.
Was it the first or second year when we lived there? This is my personal question. Like,
What are you talking about? When I switched?
yeah, when you went digital, like, was that like the first or second year?
Probably around the first year.
I got that song in my head.
So I'm drawing grasses in, but I'm still trying to be kind of, I'm just creating patterns, but a little bit more controlled now.
I don't know if I should answer this one.
Is it rude?
No, but
Dustin, can you impersonate Donald Trump? Yes, I can. I'm the best impersonator of Trump. One of the best in the entire world. Trust me.
does that satisfy it?
Nick says, actually, Dustin is right. Every time they try to do a remake of an Arnold movie, it bombs. It turns out he was more vital to them than people think. Truth.
Yep. You want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres. Gets kicked in the nuts.
Twitch comment, hey, I recently got some of your courses, anatomy, wolves, animation, etc., and they're so good. I enjoy them a lot. Just wanted to say thank you for that. You are welcome. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is now that I've got this in here, we're going to go in and I'm going to just hit a few areas. There.
Actually, you know what? Earlier in the stream, we were talking about like favorite underrated movies.
Oh yeah.
We started talking more about guilty pleasures. I would say one of my biggest guilty pleasures is Batman and Robin.
Oh really?
Specifically
The
for
Joel Schumacher one?
Yes, specifically for Mr. Freeze as by Arnold. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Which isn't really true.
Which is not true at all. No.
Okay, I'm going to try something new here. Just going to grab a little bit of light color. Oops.
Any date on the Birds of Prey course dropping?
No.
Not quite yet.
Nope, there's not a date yet, but it will happen soon.
It is still currently under construction.
So I'm just creating some little patterns back here.
I always love the three last one more things. Just one more thing.
I wanted to get more coffee.
Does everybody want coffee?
So I'm doing everything at full opacity right now.
I saw just
YouTube question, hey Aaron, I'm curious on how to take what you see and study of anatomy into your own art. I always feel like I'm missing something and can't take what I've learned into my art. I don't know what to tell you on that other than practice, practice, practice.
I've seen just a few people characters on your side. Have you always preferred animal characters or than humans?
Yes. Always.
Always.
The force will be with you. Always.
You're more of an animal person than a people person.
Oh yeah. So the idea here is to get the grasses to overlap, light over dark, dark over light, so we get those overlapping layers as everything recedes. I'm working in a way that I don't usually work, so I'm experimenting, which is just straight up opaque. And I find there's something really kind of cool working this way.
Hey guys, Aaron, are you going to do any traditional drawings on your live streams?
Yeah, I do that every once in a while. Just haven't done it in a while. It's been a while.
Since I could hold my head up high. It's been a while since I heard how you. I wanna be like you.
There we go. There we go. It's kind of cool. I like working opaque like this because it gives you some nice little shapes back here. Let's flop it.
There's always a quote-unquote one more thing on the stream, but after posting the final image, there are always several more things. Yes, because on the live stream itself, there's always that last, oh, you got one more thing, but it's just one last little detail to call it finished on the stream.
Yeah, and then I always go back and work it some more.
Exactly.
There, so now the idea is I'm trying to get him to sit in the grass. Or him. Her. I'm
Her.
trying to get her to sit in the grass. And I'm trying to be really spontaneous with the grass.
Trying to be
Drawing.
spontaneous.
Spontaneous. I like that. No, I don't. Image. Horizontal. Do you suggest painting on canvas first and then painting digitally? Not necessarily. I do recommend doing both. But they're really, I mean, they're really completely different mediums. So if you've never done either one, and you have the means to do both, then go ahead and do it. Okay, here's where I'm going to turn on my pressure sensitivity because I didn't like that. See, now I can be a little more sensitive to the grasses coming up in here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, little question. Does anybody have an idea of which tablet could be good for a full beginner in digital drawing?
Well, there's a lot of great tablets out there. The Wacom 1, which is the one that we're giving away, is a good one. So here, what I'm trying to do is get some of this grass that's lit coming in now. See that? Once again, overlapping. This time I turned off the pressure sensitivity. I turned the pressure sensitivity back on.
What do you think of child art prodigies? How do you think they develop that fast as children?
Oh, I just think there's... it depends on what you consider a child art prodigy. Prodigy? First of all, I think the brain is super malleable at that age. I mean, it's proven that it is. So there's that. There. I'm going to jump over. I want to get some nice kind of... This is where you don't be afraid to just get in there and throw in. It's got to be spontaneous from drawing these grasses. This is where it all starts to come together.
Have you saved?
Not lately. I'll save it now. There we go.
Is this the pastel C you're using for the grass?
It is. Correct.
Could it?
So here I'm basically getting all the grass to kind of follow the gaze of the lion. Of the lion.
Of the lion.
Gotta follow the grass of the lion.
Do you ever get contacted by other drawing tablet brands to review their products?
Yes. But I don't. I like Wacom. I stick with Wacom. I don't get paid by Wacom, so in case any of you are wondering, I just really like Wacom. And I've never used any other brands other than the iPad Pro.
Do you usually, when I take it whenever you get a call like that, like besides Wacom, whenever you get called like, hey, we're so and so, we saw these types. Nope, click.
I'm not rude, and it's usually through email. We don't get the phone call. But yeah, no, I don't do that.
Have you messed with telemarketers?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't even bother answering their calls now. But yeah, I've done plenty of messing around with them in the past. YouTube comment. I just ordered some of your brushes and lessons. Thank you so much. Basically, no money for such a high quality content. Not even €1 for some of them. That's right. Tell your friends. So now what I'm doing is within the shadows, I'm finding lighter values for the grass. I'm going back and forth through the layers now, getting a little bit more, I'd say a little more controlled, but also a little bit spontaneous in here in the way that I'm thinking of it as shorter grasses. Twitch question, do you think you can make the same quality of art with a cheaper tablet rather than on a giant Cintiq? Sure. I like using the giant Cintiq because I can't see. I like drawing big. But I've done stuff on smaller tablets before that I like just as much. Absolutely.
And I'm sure on smaller screens you have to work like this.
Yeah. Why are you making fun of me, man?
It's my job to make fun of you, man. I mean, like, I'm your son, right?
So I'm trying to break up some of these edges of the shadows to make it feel like it's the grass that's making them. And it's starting to come together. I'm digging it.
In the hidden creatures of the forest, are the brushes you use in there, are any of those in other brush packs on the website?
Yes, I think they are. If they're not, I think I show you how to make them.
Amazing work as usual. Always amazed how loose your work, but so perfect the result is. Lighting is really the key aspect.
Lighting really is the key. That's what gives everything form, gives it life. Thank you. So now I'm going to go through, I'm just going to hit some really bright highlights in here. Once again, it's all about keeping it really spontaneous, loose. I'm approaching it a lot. I'm trying to anyway, like a lot like a matte painter would approach, where you're not necessarily painting specific detail. You're just creating detail for the eye to kind of fill in gaps.
Have you still got the free one out from last week? The Wacom one? I think we already won. Somebody already won the last week's Wacom one. We got
It was,
one for this week.
I can't
for
remember her.
Facebook.
She was from Germany.
I think it was Ruth.
Ruth. Yes. Good job, Dustin. All right, we're coming up on, I think, wrapping this up pretty soon.
Just one more thing.
Just one more thing.
Nailed it.
I want to get to my opaque layer.
Opaque.
My opaque layer.
Opaque. Opaque. Really wondering how American would pronounce my name, Manon. Would you give it a shot? I just did. Manon, M-A-N-O-N.
I think I just did.
Manon, Manon,
Man on base.
Manon. Manon Vos S. Manon. Manon, Manon.
You getting it?
I'm Manon, Manon. See, if you pronounce it multiple ways, you're bound to get at least one of them right.
That's right.
How do you know when it's finally done?
Well,
Well, it goes a little something like this.
when I get sick of it. Oops, that's not good. I got like this. I could definitely work on this for a while longer, because I'd like to work it down to where the you know the holding lines aren't there anymore.
And speaking of lionesses, what's going on the safari?
Huh? Ah, cool. They're sleeping.
Or at least they're getting ready to sleep.
No, they're waking up. Time to go hunt. Out there.
Do they usually hunt in the night?
Yep. Yep. That's
Yeah,
when
they
they
do.
do most of their hunting is at night.
I don't know why, but I always think that they do most of their hunting during the day, and sometimes they hunt at night.
No, they mostly hunt at night. So I'm just adding little finishing touches here and there. Definitely, I got to get the. I got to get some whiskers.
Whiskers.
Getting some color in here. There. There, we're getting close here. I think we're about almost there. Stay on target. Hi, I'm having so much trouble with eyes on eyes. Can you please have a live on eyes on character design? Thank you for sharing. I always learn from your live streams. Absolutely, that's a good idea. We'll do that. All right, I'm finishing it up. I think we're about there. I do want to try one more thing.
There it is.
Multiply. Let's see here. I wanted to push shadows a little bit more on her. Just go a little deeper dark. Want to get that silhouette to play a little stronger. Try it one more time. There is a point where you can, of diminishing returns. I don't know if this is going to be too dark or not. Yeah, that's too dark. Now it looks like she's just got a dirty face. Take that off. And then back here in the background, let's do this. I'm going to put that all into a folder. So one thing I want to do, I'm going to try brightening up. I'm going to try brightening up that background a little bit. YouTube comment, hey Aaron, recently I rewatched Brother Bear and I found new appreciation for it. I didn't remember how good it actually is. Thank you. Well, I appreciate you saying that. So I'm going to go up to my blend mode on my brush and I'm going to put it on color dodge. I'm going to knock that knock the opacity way down to about 12%. And I want to, what I want to do back here, maybe I'll go a little more than 12%. I want to create some really high contrast behind her so that your eye kind of goes there. Creating a little more light on her. I'm going to push that contrast even more, and I'm going to
Random
paint
question.
with light here. Yeah.
Random question. Did you ever fall asleep while working on an artwork?
Yes. I do it all the time, actually. So I'm painting with light. I'm hitting areas that I want to be really bright. There we go. The blend mode I've got right now is color dodge on my brush. I'm looking to get a little more contrast between the head and the background. There we go. Hitting some of these areas a little harder.
Have you ever done concept art for games?
No. I have not.
I want to go lay in the grass with her. It does look pretty inviting, doesn't it?
Nope, that's not working. Try this again. Putting a few negative spaces in here for the darks just to make it so it doesn't feel so contrived. Felt it was feeling a little bit cut out, like we were trying to clear that space out just a little too much. There we go. All right. Well, that's about it. Let's wrap it up, Dustin.
All right.
Who are you typing to?
Oh, to a chat.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. So I wanted to show you an example of dappled lighting today, and how I kind of do that and overlap at grass.
Zooming in.
Oh yeah, I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in. Zooming in, zooming in.
Because when you put it to what you think is a normal size, everyone
Yes.
else it looks like this.
Yes, I know. So there's our image, and like I said, that was fun. Actually, let's combine these.
One more thing.
Image adjustments, hue and saturation. What if we push that side? I just pushed it a touch. That's not bad. There we go. Just pushed it a touch. So there's our dappled light. Remember, if you approach it really kind of systematically, digitally, laying down your local color, then laying in shadows and highlights, and then with grasses, it's really just about overlapping. Remember, we created a brush to create some grass texture. I mean, I ran out of breath on that. But there we go. And so now we've got this fun lion sitting in the grass, which I think is kind of cool. So I hope you guys learned something, and can't help it. Doing one more thing. There we go. We are going to be back on Friday at our usual time at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So come on over and join us. We'll have a great time, and we'll have a new winner with the Wacom 1. Remember, just go to our Facebook and follow or share, make a comment or share the video, and you'll be in the running for our Wacom 1. And it is Aaron Blaise Art? No, The Art of Aaron Blaise.
The Art of Aaron Blaise.
Facebook/The Art of Aaron Blaise live. Shoot, I forgot one thing.
Haha. There it is.
How to get that marking there. Oh, there we go. There. And then I gotta sign it. So, there it is. Signed it. Now it's officially done.
Yeah.
So go out, have a great week, you guys. Be safe, wear your masks. Make somebody's life a little bit better. Hold the door open for somebody. Put your grocery cart away. Just be nice. Put some beauty back into the world. Create some great art. Take what you learned today and go out and make something. Okay? I'd love to see it. So have a great week, and I will talk to you on Friday. See ya.
Hey guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and glad you guys enjoyed this stream. And if any of you new folks here are interested in any wildlife photography, you can check out my Instagram at Dustin_Blaise, where I post new wildlife photos up there quite often now. And also on CreatureArtTeacher.com, you can check out my wildlife photo reference bundle that is set in the Florida marshes. So there's alligators, river otters, different assortments of birds. So you can check all those out over at CreatureArtTeacher.com. And I'll see you guys later this week. And until then, Cowboy Bebop. See you.